Hello, good morning. Welcome to Embodied Art of the Month, which is essentially a summary of the art of different kinds that I've embodied. This is definitely inspired by Carissa Love, who's another YouTuber on here. I really love watching her art monthly videos, and it has inspired me to do one as well. I really only have 3 categories for this month, which is, are the 3 main basics for the most part: music, books, and movies. Some of these are on theme with October, dark, a little spooky-ish, mainly with the movies, but anyway. I wanted to start first with music, just because there really is only 2 things. I don't really often have a lot to put in the music category, mainly just because I listen to my playlist every day, and that's pretty much the same songs over and over. But this month was special because obviously, if you saw my previous video, I went to the Halsey Badlands concert with my darling dearest friend Elizabeth. It was like a reunion, or not a reunion, well, yeah, I guess so, kind of like a reunion concert in honor and celebration of Halsey's release of Badlands 10 years ago. And I had never listened to it back then. I really only know Halsey by her big pop and collab songs. So this was really cool. It was such a great time. We went on a road trip, we had the concert, experienced so much, the crowd was incredible. My 2 favorite songs definitely were Americana, which is also Elizabeth's song, and I think that's maybe why that's one of my tops, just because that one we were already really pumping for, and when the song was sung, that one was one of the most crowd, the energy was so absorbent during that one. That was really cool. That was probably one of the top engaged crowd going songs. So, and I agree with it. It was really good. And then of course, my favorite song that I did know over the past 10 years was Closer, and I screamed that song. I screamed it. It made me so happy. I loved it. So yeah. And then the second song for this month's art embodied is the new Ed Sheeran Play album. I will forever be a fan of Ed Sheeran. I will. I love him so much. I love his music, his art, the way he thinks and expresses his life and the experiences one has, the feelings, the emotions. I love it. I love it so much. And the album was just as good, on par with his others. My top 2 favorites that I listen to from that album is Old Phone, because I love a good sad song. And his music has always been able to actually get my body to truly like physically respond to a sad song. And I did physically cry, and it felt good. It felt releasing. It was nostalgic. It's a good sad song. It's a good sad song. And then Freedom, which is definitely, I feel like, the opposite. This one I feel like is very much about like the realization of one's own power um and like kind of embracing that, and love it. Love that balance. Love that yin yang. So next is probably the longest category. And it is books. I actually read more than just the books that I have here, usually. I can get like through 3 books in a week. So, but this month, I mean, things have changed recently with my schedule, and so I don't necessarily get as much time as I used to in the past to read, but we still get it in. And our book categories for our art that was embodied in October, which is also why you're still wearing the wig. I'm obsessed with this wig. Wore it to the Badlands concert. And we're embracing every moment. So I felt like our last little October our favorite, our arts video, get a little creative. But anyway, books. I have 4 for this category, and we'll start with the book called Adversity, and I'll have a little adversity. And I rated it a 4 stars. This is very much this is definitely geared towards, like, it's a romance. It's a Western romance, and I loved it. I'm a sucker for a Western romance. I really am. For characters, I had wrote believable, they change and grow, and they're likable, because I really think so. I feel like there's a lot more change within our female main character than necessarily the other characters, but it's very prevalent with her for sure. Then for plot, I wrote action-packed. It really was. We have obviously a Western. We've got, like, you know, the gunfights, the scheming, the doing. I wrote it was addictive. It was cliched. How can it not be as a Western? But in that same sense, I did put twisty as well, because and maybe if you're familiar with that author and her books, maybe it wasn't twisty to you. I picked it up and I really wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. Was twisty to me, and so I thought it was good. The setting is historical, and then for writing style, I put funny and witty, because when you've got a witty character, that writing's got to have it too, and it definitely does. So I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I would read that book again, and I'm definitely gonna look out for more of that author's other books. So the second book is They're Going to Love You, and that I would definitely say is more of realistic fiction. It's about this woman who has recently found out that her father is coming to the end of his life. And it's very much a book about reflection. It kind of has, I say kind of, it definitely is. I actually have it because I borrowed this from the local library. And small shout out. Get your library card, guys. Support our local libraries. But I borrowed this one from the library, and this is the cover. It's very ballet themed. It has a ballet background anyways, like the character, and but that's not necessarily what the book is about. It's not necessarily about ballet. It definitely is about family dynamic, and it was so good. Another art form that was able to elicit a physical reaction of tears. For characters, I rated this 5 stars. And then for characters, I wrote formulaic, relatable. There's just like a real, I don't know, there's a real authenticity. Authenticity to these characters in the book. Like, I really could see myself in every single one of them, but they're all so complex in their own ways. It was good. For the plot, I had put addictive, suspenseful, clever. It was. For setting, I put atmospheric. I definitely contribute that to the ballet themes it gave. It was vivid. It was historical. It touches on why I think it's realistic fiction. It definitely touches in points in our history and what it was like in society in those times, and it was really good. And then the writing style, it was beautifully written. It was very original. I don't think I've read a book like that, and it's so good. That is definitely a book that I would go on and buy for my own personal collection, definitely. So yeah. So for my third book, kind of gearing back towards romance, I have Once Upon a Demon's Heart, and so good. I loved it. I have read other books by this author. My favorite book that she has written that I love is Leave Me Behind. Love it. This one is just as good. Honestly, if I read it again, because I've read the other one several times now, and I do plan on reading this one again, because this one's I love Westerns, but I also really love when books touch on kind of like the repeated cycle, finding love through the lifetimes, where, you know, it's almost like it's cursed. So it takes a twist on the one dies, one lover dies, and the other one still has, it's kind of like Dracula. It's kind of like Dracula a little bit. One lover dies and the other one is destined, has the memory throughout the lifetime and searches for them in each one, and it twists back and forth. I've read other books where it's like, it's more like soldier center. I just really like the retellings of that theme. I think it's really good. I love that hearty achy curse type vibe. And that one I rated 4 out of 5. I don't normally rate my romances 5 stars. There are some that I do, but not normally, just because sometimes, our romances aren't necessarily about writing style. Yeah, it is. Don't get me wrong. But where the writing style is important isn't always necessarily that deep in like the setting and the plot and things like that. And I just wait out and I save those 5 stars for when there is a romance that fully embodies all of it. But I still, and that's not saying that this is not well written. I think it is. I think I'm excited because I don't think any of her other books have like seconds. I might be wrong on that, but I'm extremely excited for when the second book comes out, because I love her writing. I keep coming back to her books. I really do. So, and then my last one, our 4th one for the book category, and this book, I waited so long for the second one to come out. Not crazy long, but it felt like a long time because I was so in love with the first book, and the second book is just on as good, and that is The Reckoning of Heirs. I rated that one 5 stars. This one is not a romance. I definitely would say this is definitely more like YA, kind of like on level with Six of Crows and the Ember and Ashes type series. Young adult, yeah. It's so good. It's so good. I have so much that I could say that I just can't get it all out. But for that one, I had wrote, for impact, I wrote captivating, thought-provoking. One of my favorite things about this is that there's a lot. I'm naturally a ponderer, and this book has a lot of like pondering, like questioning of self and society, essentially. But it's very much like war with gods, that ancient feel of time to it. For the structure, this kind of ties in. I also put like it addresses counter arguments, so kind of like on par with the thought-provokingness, is because something that I really love about it is we have our main characters, and they are similar and different, and in their differences, it's not more we just get one person's like train of thought and then the other one's like, it's not kind of like a simple like, oh, I disagree, but then okay, but we're still gonna go ahead and just like only focus on this line of thinking. And I think she does an incredible job at like, okay, well, here is one perspective on the situation, here is the other, and it really engages on like, it's good. I really think she just takes the that the counter argument, the really understanding why we have to go this way within the story, and I love that. Balanced perspective, which goes into the structure, but then the writing style, I put conversational, very eloquent, and it's engaging. I love when authors and books have almost like this like musical quality, this very poetic structure in how the sentences are essentially formulated. And I don't know how to necessarily explain it. I think the only other example that I would say for how I'm trying to describe this is very much like high tea royal type books, with that kind of like speech, but not exactly like that. Like it's just like it's just got like this next level cool poetry. I don't know. But anyway, those were the 4 books that I embodied. And none of these, I think like the only one that would necessarily be a little bit more on par with October theme, where we're going with, getting the nights getting longer, days getting shorter, things starting to get spooky, the foggy, everything. I would really only say is Once Upon a Demon's Heart. But with our next category, we really focus on trying to embody Halloween, embody spookiness, and embody a little bit more of our other shadow aspects, and I really focused on trying to get that through the films that I watched for the month. And I think we really did a great job. I definitely geared towards trying to find movies that fit more of the dark fantasy genre. I watched a movie not review, but it was a thought on films on dark fantasy, and I really loved it. I thought it was really it kept me engaged, and it gave me a lot of inspiration as far as like what movies to watch to kind of get that feeling, because with dark fantasy, I don't really like horror. I used to when I was younger. I watched a lot of horror movies and stuff, but I don't really like it anymore. And I'm okay with not liking it. But I still want like it, I don't know. And I love like practical magic, and I love our witchy movies, The Craft, but sometimes that's not always necessarily the only theme that I want to embody during October. And I think dark fantasy really gets that, because it still has that very mystical quality about it, but it's just a little darker. It's just a little more twisty. And I watched 4 movies. 2 of them are ones that I've never seen before, and 2 of them were repeats. My repeats, The Last Unicorn. And I loved it. I love this movie. I watched it one time when I was really, really young. So growing up, I didn't really remember it. And about 2 years ago, I rewatched it for the first time, and I was still just as captivated, and we've watched it every year since. It's so good. I don't know. I remember, I have this one specific memory of being in an apartment when I was a child, and there was a china cabinet filled with unicorn figurines and unicorn themed things in general, and The Last Unicorn was playing on the TV, and because the person who obviously lived there it was their favorite movie, and that kind of has always stuck with me through the years. One of those foundational memories. Yeah, and I realized looking at my list, turns out that was the only repeat of my movie list. The other three I watched for the very first time this year, and that was The Labyrinth. I knew up to this point, the things that I had seen of it, I knew that I would like it if I watched it, but something always held me back. I don't know why. But I'm so glad that I no longer have continued to not watch this. I loved it. I understand why everyone loves it. I understand why it's a cult classic. It's a great movie. It's whimsical. It's dark in a fun, safe, not scary way. Yeah, it's just good. It's really good. I will probably be rewatching that for a couple of years to come, for sure. And then one book, or one movie that we watched for the first time as well, was The Never Ending Story, the live action one. I have a VHS tape of the animated version of it, and growing up, I remember watching it, and it felt like it took so long. And you know what? My memory could just be serving me wrong. I could have probably watched it over and just don't remember having the ending or anything like that. I don't remember because watching the live action, I remember all of these things, watching all these things in the animated, but I don't remember ever finishing the VHS tape. But I don't know. I loved this one. I loved the live action. I knew I was going to. And it makes me so happy that I have finally officially watched this. This has been on my watch for a very long while. So, not disappointed with it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then the last movie of our art that we embodied was Willow. I know the movie. This was a movie that I necessarily ever really felt the pull to watch. I didn't really know a lot about it at all anyways, but I was watching the YouTube movie analyzation actually kind of sold me on watching it, and I'm glad it did, because it was really good. It was definitely kind of like all the others. You're on a journey, you're going through checkpoints, challenges. It's good. And yeah, I was happy that this really had given October that folly feeling that it deserves. So that is the art. I tried thinking of other art that I did this month, but honestly, those were really the only things besides fashion. And I had thought about maybe making another category on this one, but I think maybe that could be for next month's video, just because with this being my first one, I just thought we would kind of keep it just a little short, just the 3 categories. And we'll see how other videos go, but I hope you liked it. I hope this inspires you to kind of explore one of these categories. I don't know, who knows, but yeah, thank you for watching. I love you, and I hope you have a good November. So